Welcome to ViewTheRace.com. This is the Run for the Toad 25K and 50K from the Pinehurst Lake Conservation Area in Paris, Ontario. Now this beautiful course features some very challenging terrain, some tough rolling hills throughout the course. Stay left right here at the trail. Going to go down a small downhill, and then we're going to have our first tough but short uphill of the day. Now this race features both a 25K and a 50K race. The 25K is 2 loops. Each loop is 12.5K. The 50K is 4 loops of this course. The 50K will also serve as the Canadian National ACU Championships in 2014. Now as we approach the 1K mark, the next 1.5K of this course will actually be on roads. Now this is the only part of the course that is actually on roads, and it's mostly flat terrain as we run through the campgrounds. So this part of the course should give you a good chance to get your legs under you. Now as soon as you enter the Pine Grove Trail and re-enter the woods, you're going to immediately be faced with a tough uphill. So hopefully you were able to warm up for those first couple K. Now this part of the course is called the Pine Forest. As you can see, it's a beautifully manicured trail. As we start to go over these small but steep climbs, the field is going to start to spread out through this section of the course. For the most part, the footing is very good on this course, as you'll transition from mulch to grass to wood chips. But again, continuously short but tough little climbs. They're going to wear on your legs as the race continues to wear on. Beautiful terrain to run through. This course is always well marked, so you have no worries about losing your way through the woods. And these paths are graded over and manicured to make sure that the footing is as good as it could be as you run through these trails. Now the key to this race is to pace yourself at the beginning of the race, and just keep in mind that there are very difficult hills throughout the race. And if you're doing the 25K, you have to do 2 loops. If you're doing the 50K, you have to do 4 loops of this course. So pacing is extremely important in this event. Course just twists and turns to this part as you enter the forest and then re-enter the grassy sections. A lot of different terrain throughout this entire loop. Now as we approach the 4K mark, we're going to have a steep hill. It's going to really start to kick up at this point. Tough left-hand corner here as you continue to climb, and we switch to the grassy surface. Now as you continue to climb the hill, you are approaching the second aid station, which is at the 4.8K mark. Now as we work our way around, we're actually going to run to the right side of this building that you see in the distance, and then we're going to re-enter the woods. Now as we approach the second aid station, we're actually not going to show that on the video. It's at the 4.8K mark. We're going to exit the woods briefly. You're going to see the aid station, and then you're going to re-enter the woods. There was a tight section of terrain that we're going to show you that runs in between the pine trees before we re-enter the trail at this point. So at this point in the course, we're going to take a right on the Morton Trail. Now, soon after you start on the Morton Trail, pretty soon you're going to see the most incredible views on this course, which is at Toad's Lookout. First, you're going to go up a very cool staircase, and then you're going to have the most beautiful views on this course. Some people even stop running on this part of the loop to take in the scenery. Just incredible views. And as soon as you're done taking in the view, you're going to be faced with an extreme downhill. Very fast and steep downhill through this section. In a tight corner, and then it's going to start to kick up again. Tough stretch through here. You got to pull yourself up this hill as you cross through 6K. Now at this point, we're approaching the third aid station. Little reprieve for your legs as you run through this pretty flat, grassy section. Make sure you take on some Gatorade, take on some water. At all these aid stations, there are cookies and snacks and electrolytes through Gatorade that you can take in that'll keep you motivated through the race. Beautiful views off to the left and straight as you run through this grassy part of the course. Not too many courses that are literally cut right out of the meadows and the woods. Just a perfect area for runners. As we round this corner, we're going to start another tough uphill. The trail really starts to climb right before the 7K mark. Your legs are going to be burning through this section. The trail just continues to climb. This is a never-ending hill. Now as you crest the top, the trail is going to flatten out just a bit. And then you're going to go down with some rolling terrain. Again, many times on this course, if you're not going up, you're going down. Your legs really never get a break. Now the race directors take great pride in keeping this course in pristine condition year in and year out, which is why over 1,000 athletes challenge this course every year. Now, as we approach the next aid station, it's very important to continue to take on electrolytes. You're running in a very tough course that's a 25K or especially the 50K. If you don't take on electrolytes early in the race, you will pay for it and it will affect your performance. It is very important and crucial to take on electrolytes in an event like this. We approach aid station number 4, right at the 9K mark. Now this is a really shady part of the course. It also flattens out just a bit. Now on this part of the course, we actually enter the Captain Kidd Trail. A lot of twists and turns and rolling hills, similar terrain as you've had throughout this entire event. Again, these trails are very well groomed and raked. But with any trail race, obviously you want to watch your footing for roots and rocks. But as trail racing goes, this is about as good as the trails can get. Now, some athletes will carry electrolytes with them on the course via a fuel belt, or they carry gels with them. I would recommend that, especially in such a long race as this. Even though the aid stations are well stocked, you might want to carry some electrolytes with you. As we go over the only bridge on the course, very short bridge. Again, this part of the course is very shaded. So you twist and turn. Now you should be aware that the toughest hill on the course is right at the 11.5K mark, and it's called Skeleton Hill. Now if you're a veteran racer, you know if a hill has a name, it's usually not a good thing. And this one is going to be a challenge. Just great running as you run through these pine trees. Just an incredible atmosphere to run in. Now, as you break through the trees, you're going to be faced with the toughest hill of the day, Skeleton Hill. Here's a view from the top of it, and here's a view from the bottom. Get ready to get up a very, very tough climb. It's not overly long, but this is very steep. Now, once you pull yourself up to the top, back on grass trails, and we head back into the woods. Now remember that hill, because 50K runners, you're going to be doing that 4 times. Now as we approach this gatehouse, you're going to stay to the right, right on the grass. Now as we pass through the 12K mark, please be aware that if this is only your first loop, that the Sunset Shelter home base aid station, the main aid station on the course, is about 360 meters after the start-finish line. So make sure if you have additional loops to run that you stop by this aid station and fuel up in between laps. You also notice as you approach the end of each loop that there are a ton of spectators cheering you on. Really is a great way to end each loop. So if you're doing the 25K, you have 2 loops, and if you're doing the 50K, you have 4 loops. Thank you for viewing the course video for the Run for the Toad.